Okay, so we're going to talk about conducting a needs assessment. Why do we need to do one? So sometimes we think we know what we want to do to implement in a new program, and we're sometimes wrong. You should do a needs assessment because it will help you make decisions regarding resource allocation and goals for the program, and it also just kind of gives you an overview of what needs to be done. So I'm going to go through a series of 7 steps. Step 1 is clearly define your needs assessment objectives. Why are you conducting it, and what do you plan to do with the findings? You need to identify a few key objectives at the beginning in order to get started. It helps you know who to collect your data from and what to ask them. So let's walk through an example. We're working on a program to increase breastfeeding initiation among first-time mothers in a community. So what should be our objectives? What is the knowledge or intentions of the first-time moms in the community? What are the assets and barriers to the provision of breastfeeding support in local hospitals and after discharge? Assess those assets and barriers in local hospitals and after discharge, and then determine necessary training and supports needed to increase breastfeeding with first-time mothers. So who do we need to collect the data from, and what do we need to ask them? Well, we need to talk to first-time mothers. We need to talk to healthcare providers, lactation consultants, social service providers in the community, and ask about their knowledge, intentions, assets, barriers related to breastfeeding. Step 2, you need to be realistic about resources and capacity. So it all impacts time, money, and staff. And whether or not you have a lot of time will determine what exactly you do and how you do it. You can do a lot with a simple survey or what I would call a questionnaire inventory with open-ended responses. But if you have more time, you could conduct focus groups, and you can always look at publicly available data, but you could also look at the data. You also should look at the data of the institution that you're trying to support. So step 3, identify target audience and data sources. Once you decide which data you need to gather, you need to decide how you will get participants to participate. If it's surveys, you're going to want to provide a rationale for why you are asking for their feedback. And for focus groups, you're going to want to provide incentive, food, evening meetings, potentially childcare if relevant, and make it appealing for them to participate in your activities. Step 4, think small and big when summarizing the results. So try to summarize and reflect on data for each of your needs assessment objectives individually. Do some data visualization, write some narrative about what you found. Think about themes that show up across your data that may apply to multiple needs assessment activities. Was there a barrier identified that affected mothers also, and healthcare providers and community members? If so, you'll want to take a deeper dive in those. Highlight it and share recommendations across this cross-cutting theme. Step 5, get feedback. Discuss the results of the needs assessment with an audience with lived experience from diverse backgrounds. So those community members, colleagues, funders, project partners, etc. Engage community members as equal partners. This promotes buy-in for whatever program you're trying to implement. Step 6, disseminate. Share your findings internally and externally. This ensures that all project stakeholders are on the same page. Go ahead and present your findings at community events, conferences, and other venues. And then step 7 is to take action. Review original objectives and final results and recommendations. This will help illuminate what steps are needed to achieve goals. Take actions and use the findings to develop your project, develop a work plan, and identify a team lead and a deadline, and then get the work done.